Did you know that new car prices have surged by 29% since 2020, while used cars have seen a staggering 34% increase? This car market bubble is reshaping ownership and financing, making it tougher for buyers to afford new wheels. Beyond just sticker shock, this surge impacts more than personal budgets. It ripples across the entire economy. High prices and long loan terms are placing new burdens on consumers, while the rapid adoption of expensive technologies in vehicles continues to push costs even higher. As this bubble grows, the financial strain on buyers intensifies, and the whole industry faces significant shifts. So, what are the underlying forces driving these soaring prices? And what could their impact be on the broader economic landscape? Stay tuned as we delve into how this market trend affects everyone, from individual consumers to global economies, and explore whether we're heading towards a sustainable adjustment or potential market crash. Drivers of the bubble. First, let's take a deep dive into why the car market isn't what it used to be. Once, analysts predicted that the global vehicle production would hit the 100 million mark annually by 2022. Now, that milestone is pushed to sometime post 2030. Here's why the landscape has dramatically changed. You've probably noticed how, across the board, prices for many goods are slowly returning to their pre-pandemic normals. But the car market is a whole different story. As of March 2024, 4 years since COVID-19 redefined our world, car prices are not just high, they're structurally higher. New car prices have skyrocketed by 29%, and used cars? They've shot up by a staggering 34%. It's clear we're not just seeing a temporary spike, this is the new normal. Now, with this price surge, the old ways of predicting car prices don't cut it anymore. Enter the Car Price Index by Copilot, designed to track what cars really cost now. And it tells us something shocking. The traditional depreciation model, where a car loses 10% of its value the moment it rolls off the lot, has been thrown out the window. Used cars today are, on average, 30% more expensive than they were just 4 years ago. So if you're looking at a used car, it's more insightful to compare their prices to new cars rather than their original listing price. But why this drastic change? It boils down to several key factors. During the pandemic, the cost of producing a new car soared. Manufacturers and dealers faced with supply chain disruptions, increased production costs, and higher profit expectations passed on these costs to the consumers. And it didn't stop there. This disruption created a ripple effect that continued to impact the supply and pricing in the used car market. And let's talk about microchips, the tiny tech that has thrown a huge wrench into the works. Modern cars rely on these chips for everything, from controlling windows to running navigation systems. However, a severe chip shortage has slammed the auto industry, a situation exacerbated by the dependency on semiconductor supplies from Asia. In 2021 alone, this shortage forced automakers to slash production by 11 million vehicles, causing a ripple effect, a drop in global car sales by over 12% compared to 2019, and a whopping loss of around $210 million in revenue. Despite some recovery, the production is nowhere near enough to meet the soaring demand. Manufacturing slowdowns, shipping delays, and a shortage of materials, all these factors continue to throttle the availability of new cars, leaving the market in a tight spot. So, how does this impact the consumers? Impact on consumers. With car prices reaching sky-high levels, the financial landscape for those wanting to own or lease a car has drastically changed, and not for the better. First up, let's talk numbers. The most direct hit comes in the form of increased monthly payments. At the end of 2023, the average monthly payment for new vehicles climbed to an unprecedented $738. marking a notable increase of 2.5% from the previous year. This spike stems from the dual pressures of rising vehicle costs and climbing interest rates on auto loans. Take Sarah, for example, a first-time buyer who has budgeted for a $450 monthly payment based on the prices before the bubble. When she finally made her purchase in late 2023, the same car was not only $4,000 pricier, but also came with a higher APR. This pushed her monthly payment to over $700, far exceeding her planned budget. In an attempt to manage these daunting monthly costs, many consumers are now opting for longer loan terms, which can stretch to 72 months or even longer. While the strategy offers temporary relief for lowering monthly payments, it also means shelling out more in interest over the life of the loan. Furthermore, these extended terms heighten the risk of borrowers finding themselves upside down, owning more on the loan than the car is worth. This predicament is increasingly common as rapid price adjustments in the market outpace the rate of loan repayment. Adding to the strain, the depreciation of vehicle values in a volatile market further complicates the financial landscape for car owners. Vehicles purchased at a premium during the bubble's peak are now seeing a steep drop in value as the market adjusts. For example, consider a buyer who purchased an SUV at the market's height. Just 2 years later, that SUV is worth 30% less than the loan balance, plunging the owner into a financial predicament with no easy exits. This scenario paints a stark picture. The dream of car ownership is now fraught with financial pitfalls. And so comes the implications, economic and financial implications. Now, the car market bubble, with its inflated vehicle price, has stretched credit terms, isn't just a burden for individual wallets. It's a potential storm brewing over the broader economic landscape. The implications are widespread, affecting everything from personal finances to national economic indicators. As vehicle prices have skyrocketed, so have the amounts financed through auto loans. What does this mean for the average buyer? Higher monthly payments and longer loan terms have become the new norm, substantially increasing the financial burden on consumers. Recent data from the New York Federal Reserve is alarming, to say the least. As of 2023, 7.7% of auto loans had slipped into delinquency. This uptick is more than just a statistic. It sets the stage for a possible surge in loan defaults. As economic conditions wobble and interest rates tick upwards, the spike in defaults could lead to significant losses for lenders, potentially tightening credit conditions across the board and impacting various sectors of the economy. Moreover, the financial sector could face significant challenges from an increase in bad loans. Institutions that have heavily financed auto purchases will find their profit margins squeezed as they write off bad debts and spend more resources managing delinquencies. For instance, according to Forbes Advisor, the rate of delinquency among subprime borrowers on their car payments rose significantly, from 5.01% to 6.11% between June and September 2023. This uptick could lead to reduced lending activity, limiting consumers' ability to finance large purchases and thereby further slowing economic growth. Then here comes another twist. You see, cars purchased at peak prices are now worth a lot less, thanks to rapid depreciation. This leaves many owners underwater, owning more on their loan than their car is worth. It's a tough spot to be in, and a big problem for lenders too. If they need to recover losses, they find their hands tied because the cars just aren't worth enough. This could lead banks to get even stricter, tightening credit even more and making loans harder to get. It's important to remember that the automotive industry is a vital part of the global economy, contributing significantly to GDP and employment. Disruptions in this sector can ripple through the economy, affecting everything from manufacturing to retail sectors. A downturn in the automotive industry could thus trigger job losses, diminish consumer spending, and reduce factory output, potentially slowing economic growth on a much broader scale. So, what's next for the car market? What lies ahead? As we cruise into 2024, the car market is gearing up for a ride full of adjustments and opportunities. Everyone's involved, whether you're a consumer, dealer, or manufacturer, is buckling up for what looks to be a dynamic year. 2024 holds promises of a brighter horizon for the auto industry. As pricing pressures begin to ease, both new and used cars are expected to become more affordable, sparking a potential rebound in sales. The American International Automobile Dealers Association expresses cautious optimism, anticipating that stabilized inventory levels and the return of discounting practices could rev up the sales across the board. This is a much-needed shift that could re-energize the market and offer relief to consumers and dealers alike. Also, electric vehicles continue to be at the forefront of the industry's evolution. States like California are leading the charge with stringent regulations, requiring that 35% of OEM sales be zero emissions by 2026. This bold regulatory stance is poised to significantly reshape market dynamics, driving a considerable allocation of EVs to these regions. Such mandates are expected to create disparities in vehicle availability and could variably impact dealership profitability across different areas. The ongoing shift towards EVs is also likely to induce significant changes in business models and alter the valuation of franchises. As we shift gears into the future, the auto industry's increasing reliance on technology is accelerating at an impressive pace. Car dealerships are at the forefront of a major transformation, primarily driven by the complex technology now integrated into new vehicles. This shift is increasing the demand for specialized services and maintenance, highlighting the growing importance of dealership service departments, or fixed operations. These departments are becoming crucial profit centers as more consumers return for advanced diagnostics and tech-driven repairs, presenting new revenue opportunities. However, despite the optimistic technological outlook, the industry faces formidable challenges. High vehicle prices and rising interest rates are creating financial barriers for many consumers, which could dampen sales momentum. At the same time, the industry must adapt to rapid technological advancements while ensuring profitability, particularly as stricter environmental regulations for electronic vehicles come into play. Navigating these economic and regulatory challenges require a strategic and flexible approach to both consumer expectations and business operations. It's about finding a balance that sustains growth without sacrificing the bottom line. The auto industry isn't just adapting, it's a major pillar of the economy, supporting 10 million US jobs and contributing 5% to the GDP. Its health and trajectory affects more than just those who make and sell cars. John Bozzella, President and CEO of the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, emphasizes that the industry's transition isn't only about shifting from internal combustion engines to electric motors. It's also about recalibrating strategies to ensure substantial growth and competitiveness in a rapidly changing global market. So, as we navigate this ever-changing landscape, one question remains. How will individual choices and broader economic strategies evolve to address and adapt to these high market pressures? Will the bubble deflate gradually or burst suddenly, taking the economy down with it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell.